All right, good afternoon, everybody. All right, notice of a public meeting of the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation Board of Directors pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code. The Texas Open Meeting Act notice is hereby given that a meeting of the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation will be held Monday, April 20th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. in the El Valle Room at the Ibert Center for Business and Commercialization at 1304 East Adams Street, Brownsville, Texas. We'll go ahead and move over to item 1, which is called to order. Please note, when you are speaking, use your 3 fingers to press your mic. Cesar Lopez.
Present.
Dr. Rose Gowan.
Present.
Thank you. Murat Abu Salim. 3 fingers.
Present.
Thank you, sir. Sergio Martinez.
Present.
Tracy Wickett. Here. Thank you. Michael Rodriguez is on his way. Stephanie Galvez.
Present.
Thank you. Item number 2, we have public comment. At the moment, we do not have a public comment. We will be moving on to item 3, which is consent agenda items. All items are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. If requested by a board member, any item may be taken off the consent agenda by chair or individual consideration. Michael Rodriguez. Yes, thank you.
So I would like to make a motion for the consent agenda, but after my motion, there are some questions. So I'll make a motion to approve, and then we have some questions.
Second.
So, the question is more just clarification on the 3.4 item, on the consent agenda item about the HR memorandum. You're indicating there is going to be $29,000. That's additional cost to what we already have with them. So
That's correct.
Initially we had a budget for this service of $27,813, right?
Of 24,000, I believe.
24?
24,000.
Okay.
That's originally in our agreement for the city. And that include just minimum HR duties.
Okay.
And so this is really enhancing the HR with the city, so that way it facilitates, since we don't have the staff capacity, it helps facilitate their expertise in HR.
I understand that. I don't have any issue with that. I'm just like trying to align the numbers because we're saying 24 plus 29, that's 53.
That's correct.
But you're saying here approximately 56,813. So I'm trying to just see
Where the discrepancy is.
Yeah.
Do you?
Oh, okay.
So the 27 is prorated, so it's based from May all the way to September. But the total for the agreement is 57 and so on.
56.
Yes,
That's it.
and that's gonna be reflected on next year's budget. But as of right now, if we account for it, if we approve it, it's gonna cover from May to September.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Are we good?
Perfect.
Please
Next-
vote. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
oh,
Yeah, I was right.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Don't we need to
Cesar.
vote on it now?
Yes.
Yeah.
My apologies, go ahead.
All those in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Thank you.
Motion passes. Thank you.
All right, next item, we do have presentations. And item number 4 is update on the RGV Startup Week, Startup Texas. Astrid Rosales, our Business Development and Entrepreneur Officer, will be presenting.
The most exciting time of the year is here, which is RGV Startup Week. We're really excited, so I wanted to provide you a really brief update of where we stand for next week. So we're staying really busy, but just a really quick event overview. So of course, RGV Startup Week is the biggest celebration in the Rio Grande Valley, and so we are collaborating here at BCIC with UTRGV ECC to put this event together. It is the 3rd year, and so of course, as the 3rd year, it's growing exponentially. So the event is going to be April 24th through May 2nd, and we have all kinds of activities that will go in shortly. I do want to highlight something really special about this RGV Startup Week, and that's going to be our title sponsor, which is Supply Pay. Supply Pay actually started as one of our entrepreneurs through our programs. He went through 2 or 3 different business ideas, and today, 3 years later, he's sponsoring as a title sponsor of $20,000. So I wanted to highlight that because it's such a special moment for BCIC team, for UTRGV, ECC team, and then of course our leadership to see this growth for RGV Startup Week. So we're looking for over 800 registrants at the moment, where we stand over 80 hours of invaluable sessions for RGV Startup Week from Brownsville all the way to Edinburgh, 3 major pitch competitions, and 8 flagships events that are our main events, such as we start off the week in Westlaco actually with UTRGV ECC and their boot camp. It's going to be a 2-day boot camp. There are registrations open, so if you do know of anybody that would benefit of these boot camps, please send them over our way so that they can RSVP for these sessions. This session is sponsored by Central Air and Heating Service, and it is a 2-day event. And then on Saturday, we wanted to make sure that we included a health and wellness aspect to RGV Startup Week so that we can look at the entrepreneur as a whole and not just as their business. So then we, of course, are collaborating with Caracaras Trails in celebration. I believe it's National Bike and Trails Day. So we're having this is a tongue twister, Rails, Trails, and Roots event on Saturday. So there are 40 spots available if you are interested or would like to share anybody that would like to do this bike ride. But it is educational and it's fun for the community to join us in kicking off RGV Startup Week, and it is presented by Valley Regional Medical Center. So we're looking forward to this opportunity to participate. And then, of course, the most exciting, I'd say, I'm personally very excited for our keynote speaker and reception. It is going to be Monday afternoon. I do want to note that Monday we're already starting with sessions here at eBridge. So we're starting at 9 a.m. sessions, and then we'll close off with our official keynote speaker, which is going to be, of course, representation for Dr. Simi. We will be giving out a lot of those Simi monitos, so that's going to be exciting for us to showcase. And then followed by the keynote speaker, we're actually going to have a welcome reception. So it is open and free to the community, but they do have to register because we have 300 spots available for this event. This event will be hosted at the Livery Center, so we'll have enough space and opportunity to network, mingle, and kick off RGV Startup Week really strong. I do want to note that we do have PNC participating as a sponsor for the welcome reception as the kickoff. We hope that you all are able to join us and help us spread the word on that. There's still some registrations available. And then Tuesday, one of our main flagships is the youth panel. We're collaborating again with Teach for America. This is the second time, if I'm not mistaken, that we do this type of collaboration. And the goal of this is to be able to bring forward students and bridge that gap within the business community so that they're able to learn from each other. So it's our second edition. That we're going to have diverse students. I do want to give a shout out to Sergio. Thank you so much for helping us bring on board one of the panelists for the youth panel. So it's going to be very insightful. We encourage you to help us share the word on that. On Tuesday, another main flagship is our 2-for-2 competition. So this competition is really popular because our entrepreneurs have the opportunity to pitch their business and win, or have the opportunity to win $2,000 for the pitch competition. So there's 15 spots available. We actually had the closing for them to apply today, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll be posting those, and we have 4 amazing judges that are helping us with this 2-for-2 competition. Another quick shout out to one of our board members, Stephanie. Thank you so much for assisting us and participating as a judge. But we're really excited to be able to provide, even if it's a small amount of money, to help those entrepreneurs grow and elevate their business. And then on Wednesday, we kick off with our 1 million cups. We're especially excited about this one because it's a special edition where we're actually going to have the founder of 1MC, which is a program that is hosted here at eBridge every Wednesday at 9 a.m., come and talk about his experience and how he started his journey with 1MC and how it's grown all over the U.S. And then we have Rodrigo Martinez, which is co-founder of Berry Nuts. They're actually sponsoring some of their items that we'll be giving away too. So you'll get a taste of what their business entails for 1 million cups. And then our most exciting, I keep saying the most exciting, but we're really thrilled. I apologize for the repetitiveness, but Startup Texas is a program that is a very intensive 12-week program in collaborations with UTRGV, ECC, where they have the opportunity to pitch about their business that is dedicated in emerging industries and really apply everything that they've learned within those 12 weeks. So we're gonna have really fun awards for these businesses, such as community votes or most innovative as well. And that is going to be Wednesday afternoon as one of our key demos. Up next, we have our Frontera Leadership. This is a program that focuses on youth entrepreneurs to showcase what they've learned within the 15-week program that they started in January. And so they focus on, of course, entrepreneurship, but also product development, and they'll be presenting their projects in 3 different groups, and that'll be Thursday afternoon. Yes. We are looking for judges. Thank you, Corey, for that. We're looking for one more judge for Frontera Leadership. So if yourself or anybody is interested, it's going to be Thursday afternoon from 5 to 7. And it's going to be 3 groups that are going to be presenting, so it won't take too much of your time. So please let me know if you know of anybody that would be interested. And then Friday is Hurt Texas. Last year we had Hurt Texas as well. They started off the first year of RGV Startup Week, but it's really a day full of women empowerment. Hurt Texas actually has a chapter here in the Rio Grande Valley, and they'll be having a luncheon. They'll be having different sessions to be able to bring together women entrepreneurs to continue to support each other. So it's a great opportunity to expand your network and continue, of course, to support the mission of Hurt Texas to be able to empower women in business all across the state of Texas. On Saturday, this officially closes our RGV Startup Week. I know it's a lot, bear with me, but it's our 2026 Youth Summit. We are partnering with the City of Brownsville Youth Advisory Board. They're actually putting the event together, and we're here supporting them. So they actually have been working on this project to where they'll pitch solutions for issues that are happening in our community at the moment. And there's going to be a small competition as well. I do want to note that for the Youth Summit, it is open to the public as of 3 p.m., where you can witness the pitch competition itself. During the day, they're going to be having workshops to continue to strengthen their project. This is just kind of a quick layout of what I just went through of those individual flagships that we're highlighting through each day. At the end of this presentation, there is a QR code too, where you'll have the opportunity to see those individual sessions as well. Now, I do want to highlight, of course, the reason why we're doing this and why we're able to. Of course, we have Supply Pay here. In terms of our sponsorship overview, we actually had 72% of our sponsors from previous years come back, which leaves us with about 28% of new sponsors that are looking to support this initiative and continue to grow it. So at the moment, we have 73 collected in cash and then a lot in in-kind. We have 14,000 in in-kind of people looking to give away like berry nuts or be able to support this initiative with things that their business offers. So we're really excited about having the opportunity that all of these businesses believe in us as a community to put forth RGV Startup Week together.
I also want to point out the in-kind sponsorships also include lunches, like they're providing lunches to the people.
Which makes this event be possible for our community and it be free. So ways to help, through our leadership, but also anybody else watching on live, of course, registering, sharing, attending the events if you have the availability to do so. Just help us spread the word on it so that we're able to increase the numbers from last year. Last year, I believe we had 1,300 registrations on our Huva app, which is the platform that we utilize. We're looking to grow that exponentially this year, but we do need your support. And then lastly, here's a QR code. This actually leads you to the entire agenda for RGV Startup Week. So you have the opportunity to share or register yourself if you're interested in joining some of these sessions. And that concludes our presentation for RGV Startup Week today. If you have any questions.
What does Supply Pay do? I don't know.
So Supply Pay is actually a platform where they focus on logistics in terms of, I believe it's, logistic, like crossing, but it's just a platform. So in essence, they get hired to help the entrepreneur or the business take the invoices, take the payments a lot quicker, and facilitates that process, just makes it faster for the entrepreneurs that are crossing their goods and services.
And when you were talking about Dr. Simi, did you say Monitos of Dr. Simi?
Monitos, yes.
What's that about?
So it's really popular within the brand. Yes.
Why does anybody want a Monito of Dr. Simi?
Oh,
So-
everybody wants one. It's a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I live in a cave, I'm sorry.
That thing, that
Little monito.
like that.
You see that guy?
Oh, okay.
So, and that's why it's so interesting for Dr. Simi. It's a pharmacy, right? And so they've grown their brand so much that you'll see that little toy at parties. They throw them
I
out
had no
everywhere.
It's their
idea.
mascot.
It's
the-
their
the
mascot, and
mascot.
everybody wants it. So part of the conversation is just that: how did you get to the point where everybody wants a Dr. Simi with like a T-shirt on or whatever that may be? And so they'll be throwing those around, and that's exciting.
Okay,
Yeah.
and my la- okay, it's not a Barbie, but I get it.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, then my last question was on the Pitch Fest.
Mhm.
Do you have different categories of businesses, or is it just anything that, any kind of business that can apply?
Yes, so for the 2 for 2 competition, at the moment, we are taking in all kinds of applications so that we're able to push them down the pipeline of the different programs that we do offer. And then, of course, emerging industries, we are focusing more on technology, innovation, AI platforms, things of that nature, given, of course, the market right now in Brownsville and how we're expanding. We want to be able to help those businesses, push them down the pipeline, but that's the focus.
I had a question.
Yeah.
And I recall Supply Pay was one of the original pitches. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah, yeah.
It's a full circle thing. Now, he went through all of our programs, and now he's giving back to.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we want. Thank you.
Was it a pitch winner? Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah, he's been a part of since eBridge opened, even probably a little bit shy of our opening. So he's been into the cohorts, and he's a mentor, and now we're utilizing his AI expertise to help with our emerging industries and looking at how else we can use AI in his workshops to help enhance any of our entrepreneurs and small businesses.
So, I do recommend if you haven't signed up for, you can do it. It's free, and you can follow all the activities. I also want to compliment. If you can't make it in person, I know last year I couldn't make everything. They have a great system set up where you can stream the pitches, the workshops from your desk. So you have some time, and you can listen into a lot of things. I know I really enjoy listening to some of the workshops and discussions being held. So that service is available as well.
Thank you, yeah.
Through rgbstartup.com or
This
like
live stream?
streaming services? Yeah.
Yes, it's gonna be through our YouTube and Facebook as well. So, but thank you for highlighting that. That's definitely a good point. That we want to make it available to everyone, right? Regardless if they're at work and they can't physically join, then they have the opportunity to do so. But if you don't follow us already on Facebook, then this is the perfect opportunity.
Do you have to register for the streaming also, or?
No, as
You
long
just
as
log
you
on.
correct, yeah. As long as you follow us on Facebook, then you'll get the notification, and you don't necessarily have to register for it.
And we'll also be sending the calendar invites for the keynote and the open reception. And we're also doing a private dinner afterwards for Dr. Simi's group and some of the sponsors. So you'll receive an invite for that as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Astrid. Item number 5, fiscal year 2024 and 2025, BCIC Annual Report. Nelson Amaro, Director of Marketing and Communications, will be presenting.
Hello, I'll be presenting the fiscal year 2024 and 2025 annual report. And one thing I want to point out is that right now you're looking at a newspaper right there. It's not your typical report. And the reason that we have that right there is because we are actually printing the annual report as a newspaper. So you will be able to read it and pick it up as a newspaper itself. We're a non-traditional economic development organization, and I believe we can go about these things in a non-traditional way. So, the first highlight of this report, something I want to mention is that I won't be talking specifics about the numbers inside of it, but I'll be talking more about the sections inside of it. It's printed, it's going to be also digitally available, so you'll be able to read it in depth on your own time, and we will be sending you that link so you can read it. We just need to tweak some things that I noticed after I printed it, so that's why we haven't run the full batch yet, but you will be able to access it and read it fully. It will be available online next week or perhaps this week. And in print, it's going to take a little bit to get here, but it's going to be ready in 2 weeks. So you can pick it up and you will also get a copy. It adds up all of our impact for fiscal years 24 and 25. Last year, we did it for 22 and 23. And the reason we did that was because sometimes a business or a project may get funded maybe at the end of the fiscal year or at the beginning of the fiscal year, and it will take 8 months, a little bit less, a little bit more to get started. So it's hard to say something about their story, like, hey, they were funded here, but what really happened? They just received the money. But if we can extend that period in which we can tell the story by 2 years instead of reporting yearly, we were able to say they generated this amount of jobs, they grew this amount of locations. So that's why we decided to do a biennial report instead of an annual report. We did the same thing with this one. However, next year, or at least this year, I believe we're switching back to the interyearly report. And I'll tell you why. And I think it was pretty clear in Astrid's presentations, because we do so freaking much. We do a lot of things. We have so many projects in the pipeline that now we can report a lot of things that maybe started 2 years ago and it's now having an impact in 2026 or 2025 in this case. So this is the last year maybe that's going to be every 2-year report, and we're going back to reporting on a yearly basis. And also, we recently got our HubSpot CRM system, or a customer relationship management system, that allow us to better track the impact of the things that we do, where these people go after they get or resources or money or education. We can better track them, so it's easier for us to report and crunch those numbers with this new system that we implemented. It includes a QR code inside. You will be able to see it, that each story, or most of the stories, include a QR code to continue reading about that story that you just started getting to know in the news, in the report. So this is not only a promotional tool for BCIC, it's also something that if you're a small business or you're a nonprofit and you read about a program that may benefit you, you can scan it and go apply for the program, or you can share it with someone that may benefit from it. So I believe that literature like this, reports like this, should not only be a report, but something that you can use in the long run. So maybe if you will find it 2 years from now, you can still link to BCIC pages on which we have programs that are still available for you. Each page of the report focuses on a pillar of BCIC. So marketing, community development, entrepreneurship and innovation, finance, partnership and collaborations, each have their section in the report. So it's easier to read and flows better depending on your interest. And it goes beyond the crude dollar signs and jobs created. It also talks about the partnerships and collaborations that we have fostered throughout this past 2 years. And that's one of the reasons we're able to do so much, is because we don't try to do it everything on our own. We don't do it alone. We do it with a lot of people that help us, well, do things like RGB Startup Week, for one, done, and grow so greatly throughout the years. Lastly, it circles back, it closes, the last page links back to a strategic plan. So if someone was super entertained by their newspaper or annual report and wants to read more about BCIC, they will be able to visit the QR code that's also included right there in the bottom, and they will be able to read our whole plan. And it's fun as well. You will have fun reading it, and there also it even has a crossword that you can complete once you read the whole report, because it's going to quiz you on the things that come in the report. And that's basically it. That's the annual report. You will be receiving a link so you can go into the numbers, but that's what we created in the past couple of months working on this. This might be my magnum opus. I've never designed a newspaper, but we did it, guys. Any questions, anything to say?
I just had a quick one.
Yes.
Well, kind of like a newspaper, usually to distribute that, do you have any plans on distribute it like in some format or in a kind of like a newspaper box? I
So
don't know what that's
one
called.
of the ideas that we had is like, whenever you were reading a paper in the morning, you had coffee, right? So we're thinking about getting coffee from local suppliers, delivering it to the person and say, hey, here's a bag of coffee so you can enjoy your coffee while reading the paper in the morning. So that was one of the ideas. I don't know if we're gonna do it, but it's an idea on the table. If you have any ideas, please let us know. We're happy to implement them if possible.
You might want to distribute as well to hotels,
Mm-hmm.
because oftentimes there's very tired little brochures in the front of the hotel.
Good idea.
And tourists just, that would be very interesting to a tourist.
That's a great idea. Thank you.
Your digital print, when is that? I mean, I don't remember seeing it. That's why, is that gonna be quarterly, and when are you gonna be sending those out?
This is just
Oh,
it's
it's
the annual
just a
report,
sample.
so it compiles the last 2 years. It should come out at once every year, of course.
Okay.
So this one encompasses the last 2 years. We're gonna post it maybe at the end of this week or the next one, and you'll be able to access it at any time online.
But do you
Right.
send it out through like distribution?
Yeah. So we have our newsletter list. It has, as of today, around 8,000 contacts. So every Monday we send a newsletter with everything that we have done that week, and of course we're gonna add this when it comes out.
And we can
anyone
do
that got
its own press release
Press release as well. Yes,
Yeah.
it's gonna have a press release.
And anyone that got a grant approved will have one in stock in front of their store. I'm
Please,
sure.
yes. Yeah, we're happy to distribute it to our supporters.
How much will the Herald charge you to have it as an insert?
I don't know. I reached out to the Herald.
They'll charge us, right?
I reached out to the Herald because I
that's
wanted
not a
to
bad
print it
idea.
Just
locally.
throwing that out there, I mean.
That's not a bad idea.
I wanted to print it
I like that. I
locally,
like that. Insert.
but after 3-4 tries, they never sent me the quote, so I had to go with someone else. But if you know someone, please.
What he's saying is not have the Herald print that, but having
Have it
it
as an
is an
insert.
insert. So it's a paid advertisement, so they put it into the paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It's a standard size, so it shouldn't be a problem.
At least on Sundays, that's when they have the highest
Uh,
circulation.
They don't do Sundays anymore. It's
Or-
a
or
Saturday.
It's a weekend thing, I forgot, right?
They only do Wednesday and
It's a weekend.
Saturday.
Saturday.
Well, this is just a yearly printable, right? Like, it's only one time?
Correct.
Maybe we can have a sign-up sheet and we can send them to their homes. I think that'll be quicker access to the consumer. If it's just a mail out.
Not a bad idea.
And put a little budget for that.
So we can put out a couple of promos with a link to sign up, and you will receive it in the mail. It's not that expensive to ship, I'll say.
Kudos. I really like this creative approach. I think worst case, Nelson, you get on a bike and you just start.
Just showing it.
Okay.
I can lend you this one, but it's my only copy. It is not the final copy, and it has some taco stains from yesterday. I was working on it last night, so I can lend you this one so you can preview it, sneak peek.
Pass it around, yeah.
I'll put it right here.
I also wanted to point out, even though this is
I think that's so cool.
a 2-year report, we are looking at vendors requesting quotes right now to do individual impact reports on some of our programs. Bigs included, our Quality of Life, and our Startup Texas.
That makes me think of what I was thinking of, and then I forgot it. But was it a section in every year that looks back, like, 5 years ago today, we funded, whatever, and look what it's doing now, like
Yes.
supply pay, for
Correct.
example, or something like that. It
That's
would
a
be
good
nice to look back, and, because some people don't, would be surprised that that came from,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally. It's a great story. Well, any other questions? I'm happy to answer.
Just a distribution note. I mean, instead of maybe sending it out with coffee, what about stocking it at the coffee shops that are so popular?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we at least have 2 or 3 big recipients that will be happy to have it because, well, they were part of our programs, yes.
No, but I like the Warbler. I go to that place a lot.
One of them, yes. Yeah,
Get your pastries there too.
ready? Good, I think that's my last slide.
I will give it free.
Nelson, could you bring me the other
Yeah, of course.
clicker?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty, board items for individual consideration. Item 6, consideration, discussion, and action to approve a memorandum of understanding between the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation and the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley for operational collaboration at the Blueprint Lab prototyping space located within Ebert Center for Business and Commercialization.
That's a long item. All right, okay. Hi. So today I'm presenting the updated MOU between BCIC and UTRGV for the operation and programming of the Blueprint Lab at Ebert Center. As a reminder, this item was tabled at the last meeting to allow staff to address 3 key concerns: reducing long-term commitment, providing clear cost estimates, and ensuring adequate staffing and operational coverage. So this agreement establishes a collaborative framework between BCIC and UTRGV to support entrepreneurship. Sorry, I went ahead of the product prototyping and commercialization, workforce training and applied learning, and community engagement. Importantly, the MOU does not modify the existing sublease, and BCIC retains full operational control of the Blueprint Lab. The biggest change in the structure from the last time it was presented is now it's set at a 1-year initial term. It includes a 90-day review period before expiration. Renewal is not automatic. It requires a mutual agreement between BCIC and UTRGV, and if no action is taken, the agreement automatically terminates. This is the setup for this is to ensure the board and me has the ability to evaluate the performance before we continue each year. So additionally, the staffing model, that was one of the concerns. So in the MOU, UTRGV will provide a technical specialist for 15 hours per week. And we have discussed hiring a part-timer lab tech for 20 to 25 hours to ensure consistency and safe through the prototyping lab. I have also included a cost estimate of the staffing, the materials, the software, and the program and consultants that we may be required for the Blueprint Lab. So the total estimate cost is between $43,000 and $70,000 annually. So this hopefully gives you a better, clear understanding of the financial commitment as we move forward for the next budget year. Additionally, we also thought of a cost recovery strategy. Looking ahead, that includes membership access, workshops and training fees, material costs up front, corporate sponsorships, as well as grant opportunities. So our goal is to offset 20 to 50% of our operating cost over the time. So our recommendation is if we can move forward on the approved MOU, by activating the lab. We already have the tech from UTRGV, the intern, assisting us. He's been with us for 2 weeks. He's been fantastic, has really helped Astrid and I understand what the machines can do and what is needed. So we really are appreciative of that. And what we want to do is then implement a cost recovery strategy for our next fiscal year. So questions?
A quick question, and just to make sure, I don't see it here on the backup, but kind of just to point out those concerns that the gentleman had, we are addressing those issues, right? As far as, yeah, the HVAC and
Yeah, that is
ventilation
the risk
concern.
assessment.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not part of the MOU. That is on BCIC. But talking with UTRGV after that meeting, and we've walked upstairs, we looked at the equipment. A lot of them are in containments, in their own containment. So he said that he doesn't ever see an issue. I additionally Nelson and I went to the library, the public library, and they have a maker space. And they have very similar equipment, and it's all open. But we will still do the risk assessment just to make sure we have everything understand and cleared, saying that, yes, we've done it.
Thank you.
What are the benefits of having just a 1-year agreement rather than like a 2 or 3 year?
A 1-year agreement will allow us to step back after the 1 year to look and see, is the specialist, the technician that UTRGV, is that meeting what our needs are? Are they doing what we're looking for? Because we're asking for them to do reporting, doing a lot of backup documentation, so we need to make sure that they do that. So this would just be an understanding of having that collaboration, that communication every year and saying where we're at.
And what is the plan in case they don't meet their requirements and we do pull out? What are we gonna do with that space and who's gonna run it?
No, that space is still ours.
No, I know, but it seems like we're having them bring in the expertise.
They're providing only 15 hours. So we're requesting that BCIC hire a part-timer Eventually, it should be a full-timer, but that should be, as time goes on, that could be a year, 18 months, 2 years down the road before we have a full-timer.
What
But
I'm
we
asking-
have a part-timer under us.
Can we do it on our own if it's feasible? Like, if we don't continue a partnership after 1 year, can we?
I think we can, but I like the idea of if everything goes and we have, I don't foresee us having any issues with UTRGV. It's just having accountability on both UTRGV and BCIC in regards to going to the MOU, keeping the staff, I mean, not the staff, the board abreast of what's going on. But I like the idea of having those, you know, they're seniors, juniors, and seniors in college. They're getting hands-on training. So this helps them in the job market.
For me, it just seems that something that's new, and we're only gonna give it 9 months to evaluate it, see if we continue it. I think we should give it a little bit more time. To see if it works and how it's working, and work out the, you know, the mishaps that we're gonna have throughout. It's a new program. Now, if we change that from 1 year to 2 years, it would have to go back to them, right, for approval, and then basically back and forth on this?
Yeah, it would.
All right, well, I'm fine with the 1 year. I would rather just get it going already.
What was the original term requested?
5 years.
We can't do 1 year with the optional 2 years to renew or something like that?
Yeah, I think that's really what
I mean,
we,
that's standard practice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what,
Well, the MAU states that, like the UTRGV is okay with these new terms. They're saying that we're good with 1 year and we're gonna check by the end of 1 year to see if we're gonna renew it based on mutual, you know, agreement. So it's not like it's only 1 year, right?
well, yeah, but it does say here automatic termination if no renewal is
If there
agreed.
no renewal. But if
Correct.
Yeah,
if
if-
it's going to continue, then it's gonna continue the second year. and
The
second year,
renewal has to
and
come from both parties as
Yes,
well.
yeah.
You're assuming that they're a yes, and we don't know if they're a yes already.
That's why we're hiring a part-time in our own, so we can start. Initially, there was no plan to hire anybody. We were relying completely on UTRGV for the first year. Now BCIC is hiring a part-timer to start training that part-timer. So in case UTRGV pulled the trigger, we have somebody. in
We have
place who already
consistency.
Trained and know what's happening, right? So, you know, I think this modification is good enough for now, and since UTRGB is okay with it, we'll
Yeah.
just move on and we'll see how things grow with the spirit of continuing our partnership. Like,
Yes.
we're not, you
And
know,
I do want to say, in the spirit of continuing the partnership, we do have it planned to have a ribbon cutting for the Blueprint Lab in 2 weeks on May 5th, Tuesday, at 11 a.m.
I'll move to approve the amended memorandum of understanding with UTRGB.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 I'm gonna abstain on this one.
Item number 7, consideration, discussion, and action to approve the following fiscal year 2026 business improvement and growth application for the following items, which is A through C.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to be going ahead and presenting on three items for BIG. So program overview, as we all know, support downtown revitalization through strategic investments that reduce startup costs, restore historic properties, and increase business activity here in downtown Brownsville. Our extensive rehab program overview is to really assist with second and multi-tenant activations that enable infrastructure-heavy upgrades like HVAC systems, as well as all interior and facade restorations that are under our standard program. Eligible uses are facade restoration, exterior improvements, like I said, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing to bring interiors up to code, HVAC installation, and soft costs such as architecture, engineering, and historic preservation outcomes. Ineligible uses are roof repairs, grease trap installations, flooring, carpeting, asbestos testing, demolition, debris removal, and other cosmetic-only improvements. Funding terms for extensive rehab tier 1 is up to $100,000 of eligible costs, which would be a 20% match from BCIC depending on the project size. The applicant is responsible for the remaining 80% of the costs. Our item for extensive tier 1 is the museum. It is located at 701 East Levy by Antmer LLC, Mr. Antonio Muraira. Building was originally First National Bank, built in 1984. Square footage of the building is over 13,000 square feet, with a square footage for the facade over 2,300 square feet. They are requesting up to $100,000 for facade and interior improvements. Total project cost at the moment is $500,000, but it is expected to go up higher. Project timeline is from October of 2025, finishing at the end of June of this year. The first floor will have an indoor event space up to 400 people that it could seat. The outdoor will be another 200-person event space. The second floor will be 2 office spaces that they're also renovating. We have some designs of what the interior and facade will look like for their events. So the project scope for the facade is weather-conscious upgrades to the exterior, signage, power wash, replacement of damaged windows and doors, and replacement of damaged pillars for the building. For the interior, it is to update the restroom and add ADA-compliant facilities, advanced HVAC installation, full installation of fire protection systems on both floors, as well as reinforcing the structural integrity of the building to support the usage on both floors, obviously. That is our item for that one. Are there any questions on the first project before I go on to our next one?
What was the capacity going to be for the events?
For indoor, it's 400, outdoor is 200.
Have they addressed concerns about parking because they have a very small parking lot at that facility?
So if there is, I don't know if they've really been addressed it, other than getting city approvals and the parking for this on the street along the property.
The city won't give them permits unless there's, the required amount of parking spaces.
So I believe the city has relaxed the parking restrictions downtown, so.
Yeah.
But of course, I have spoken to Mr. Murata. We have talked about this. When he does pitch events to people, he will be recommending using of the garage. I always forget where we are. The garage. That way, some way.
There has to be other parking lots nearby. I mean,
There are. Mm-hmm.
There are, and there's also the HEB parking, so they could probably, there's opportunity to coordinate with them for a fee.
Yeah, and they can do a nice little stroll. Or they park a couple blocks down.
It's not that far, actually, from the HEB one.
I think since I've been here, I've gotten used to walking around down here.
Well, on the weekends, there's still the trolley going around, so they can put that
That's
to
true.
use.
That is true. Hopefully they expand it for more days.
And
more
I
time.
believe like the livery venue, they also coordinate with some parking lots and they have shuttles. They bring their long limousine golf carts is what I call them to escort people to their events. So
I think these projects is more the reason for why the city should invest in a new multi-parking. I don't know how that is coming with the downtown.
They're planning on it.
Planning on it. So,
Yeah.
So so this is actually an event center, like the
Yes.
When I read the title of the building, like it was deceiving at the beginning, like museum or like we have a new museum.
Oh yeah, no,
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, that's just what they're
So-
naming the building.
I don't think it qualifies yet to be marked as a historical building
No.
yet.
No, they
It need to be-
did ask.
It need to be 50 years, right? This is not quite there yet. Okay, cool, thanks. But it is a beautiful building. Glad they reserving it.
Next one is a standard rehab application. Similar to our extensive, except there is no HVAC installation and is more for quick turnaround projects that do not require much love. Under our standard, it's up to 50% of eligible costs, maximum of $25,000 for the exterior and $35,000 for the interior. Our applicant is 854 East St. Charles. It is Brandon Komisarenko, along with his father, under Komisarenko. I struggle with that name. Komisarenko LP. The building was built in 1980. Square footage of the building is 2,200 square feet. They're requesting up to $25,000 for the facade, up to $35,000 for the interior. The total project cost is going to be, at the moment, $125,000. Project timeline is from April 1st up to August 1st of 2026. What they're going to be using the building for is a co-working space. So they will be activating it for 8 desks to be used, as well as staffing for their own company. So they are they're realtors as well as investors in other properties. The project scope will be installation of a new energy efficient windows, some facade repairs, architectural accents, and AD accessibility to the building. For the interior is where most of the work will be, is for complete mechanical, electrical, and plumbing upgrades. Redesigning the electrical distribution because it is just an open space with no power along the sides. Expand power and data capacity, ADA accessible restrooms, interior framing and drywall. And I put a little layout of what the interior and the facade will look like. Along the side, Mr. Komisarenko had already installed that mural, which is up on right now. 701 East, 854 St. Charles. It is a corner building. Can't really.
So, we used to have some sort of indication of how many staff members they're going to be hiring for these new projects, like rehabilitation projects. We don't have them for any of those. Why is that? Like, how many staffers will be hired, or more people will be employed for the museum projects? Do you have that?
It's in my notes.
But I didn't see it in the packet. And we used to have that, so I think we should get back to that habit of showing it, because it gives us and the community a sense of, okay, how is that? Yeah, job creation, right? So I recommend that we indicate that.
Yes, I can get you that answer.
Please, and for all of them.
So it'll be his own company with some staff there, as well as 8 co-working spaces for people to use.
How much? Sorry, how many? Sorry.
8 desks to be used, as well as.
Yeah, but the desks, those are tenants.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm talking about how many employers will be hired to operate that place.
I will double check on that, and I
Same
can get
thing
you that
with the
answer tonight.
museum. How many people will be employed to operate that place? Okay.
I'll get you that.
Thank you.
To summarize, for 701 East Levy and 854 East St. Charles, it is a $160,000 request between both. It's up to 100 for 701 East Levy, and up to 60,000, 35 for interior and 25 for the exterior. Our budget as of now for fiscal year 26 is 500,000. Awarded to date is $309,600. Requested this cycle is 160, which would leave us with a balance of 30,400. I just want to reiterate that everything is reimbursement based. So at the end of the day, if they don't exhaust or qualify for that much funding, it will just end up not being used.
So on the St. Charles rehabilitation project, I saw there is a mural on one of the facade. Is that part of the cost that is estimated?
No, because it's already installed. We are not able to go to do reimbursements retroactively. So the work was done tail end of last year, before he applied.
So what's the scope of the facade improvement for this one?
More for the front.
What?
This one doesn't zoom in. There at the front of it, it's really just fixing up the windows and repainting that front part. The yellow is not really, yeah.
Okay.
And as well as adding signage for what the actual company is.
What about the parking? Is that part of it? Like the front parking there where the grass is grown and everything, is that part of the?
Under the big rent, we don't have it right now where they're able to do parking. They are, yeah.
Okay.
I have a question. For the one on St. Charles, is it just an expansion of their already business and they just want another place where it could be a little bit more convenient for space purposes? Or, I mean, I know he asked for a specific number, but
Mm-hmm.
did they at least just mention like, oh, we're looking into hiring more people?
So it's not an expansion. The building is currently vacant, so it's going to be a whole
No,
new
but
business.
you said that they were realtors, like it's a company, realtor company already, right? And they're looking for
Yeah.
a place to do staffing and,
Yeah, so
And-
he basically works from home with his
I,
dad.
I
with
think
his
she's
partner.
asking, do they currently have a location that they're moving into this one now, or?
No, they're basically working from home. They're just on the road, running around everywhere. Now they're
got
gonna
it,
have their,
okay.
So it'll be their first office, true office.
Okay, so yes, that was my
Yeah.
question, to make, okay, got it.
Is this Blanca's place?
No.
No? Okay.
that one's soon to come.
In general, not just for this one, moving forward, since this program is getting more and more, unfortunately, we haven't been paying attention to these things, but we should now moving forward, especially if we are at the permit status. We need to see more of a complete drawings rather than just a sketch that it doesn't really indicate how it's going to be looking. Look at the end.
Okay.
Like, the museum, I can tell there is a more, robust renderings going on, and there is, ideas. But in this one, I see one sketch, and I don't know if that's actually going to be the end product of this, or it's just an idea that might not even be implemented. Makes sense? So, whatever they have submitted for permitting will be good as a reference for us to see, and, okay, this is how it's going to.
Okay, yeah,
Because it's,
that's a quick
part
fix.
of this is, yes, activation, but also, preserving the heritage of the downtown area, and so
Yeah.
forth. So,
I actually
thank
like
you.
wherever they submit for permitting, they submit with our application. I like that.
That's a quick fix, and we can already add it to the application.
Any
Any other
other-
questions? Can we group them, just approve all of them?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you.
Item number 8, consideration, discussion, and action on the Big Lift Program guidelines and the appointment of a subcommittee.
Hello again. So this has been something that's been in the making for a while. Thank you, Corey, for being patient with me as I ask a lot of questions. But we're looking at listening to the feedback that the public gave us. And we are launching, hopefully with approval, our Big Lift to be able to extend revitalization citywide. So why this program matters, where we want to expand from just downtown, the big program, to the rest of Brownsville. The big program success, obviously, as we know, is focused on downtown Brownsville. There's limited tools for commercial corridors and neighborhood businesses that we have seen. There's a growing demand for small-scale improvements throughout the city, and there's no current program serving businesses outside of downtown by anybody, us included. So we see it as an opportunity to extend revitalization beyond downtown, support locally owned small businesses citywide, improve visual quality of key commercial corridors, as well as create a more equitable investment across Brownsville. See, I'm already used to downtown Brownsville. So what is Big Lift? It's a citywide program. It awards up to $10,000 in a reimbursable grant to those awarded. It is able to assist with exterior and site improvements. It is, like I said, reimbursement based. Businesses must have fewer than 20 employees, and they must be locally owned and non-franchise small businesses. It is a one-time reimbursable grant for businesses up within the Brownsville city limits, and the minimum project cost that we're requesting is $2,000. It will be a competitive and scoring-based selection, as opposed to just apply and then we can go over and present to the board. It does have to be scored. To do a little comparison between Big Downtown and Big Lift, geography, downtown's for downtown only, it's in the name, and the rest, the Lift is citywide, comparing up to $200,000 for reimbursements, or as opposed to up to $10,000. Match required for downtown, no match is what we're requesting for Lift. The focus is exterior and interior rehabilitations to bring it up to code. This would just be exterior inside improvements. The scope is for major property rehabs. Lift is more for facade, signage, lighting, murals. Selection would be application-based, and like I said, competitive scoring-based. The eligible improvements would be painting, cleaning, door, window, awning replacements, repair or replacement of business signage, storefront visibility and lighting, artistic elements enhancing corridor aesthetics, just such as murals and art, landscape, permanent landscaping and hardscape elements, as well as resurfacing and striping improvements for parking lots. The key program changes, it is a not first come, first served. It is a 100-point rubric evaluated by a board subcommittee. Priorities in BCIC designated corridors score higher for strategic alignment. Tenants in shopping centers are eligible, but they are limited to their storefront only, no common areas to be shared. No franchise businesses must be located locally owned and independently operated. All landscaping must use native, water efficient, and drought tolerant landscaping. 2-year preservation, 2-year preservation period with alterations may trigger repayment, and a 12-month clawback if the business is sold or ceases operation. And we will be also requesting 2 years of sales tax returns for anybody that applies. So how the projects are selected, it will be between these seven pillars of scoring, similar to how we did the Quality of Life. Although the caveat is applications must score at least 35 out of the 55 points between criteria A and B to be considered for funding, because usually D, E, and F is a lot easier to rack up the points. So we'd want to make sure that our subcommittee really focuses on A and B to really grade and fine-tune our applications. After that, the review process would be staff review, board member subcommittee review, then it would go to board approval with agreements out for signature. The expected impact is corridor revitalizations, improve commercial corridors that attract customers and increase foot traffic, small business investment, reducing the cost of exterior improvements to encourage private reinvestment, enhanced property value and tax base, enhancements that contribute to higher property values and strengthen local tax base, business retention and growth, creating a pathway to participate in larger big project programs. So for accountability and tracking, we will track total projects and program investment deployed. Like I mentioned, 2 years of sales tax returns, improvements maintained for the 2 years to ensure long-term corridor benefit, the 12-month clawback, and we will be requiring anybody that goes through the program to have on-site program signage. So for the timeline, it would be marketing and outreach starting May 1st, applications opening June 1st. They will have a 60-day cycle. Then in August, staff and board subcommittee will be reviewing with board action items presented in September. Notice to proceed will be in October, and the agreements will be for 9 months, which would be ending June of 2027. Like I mentioned, the grant is up to $10,000 per project. Minimum cost for is $2,000. This is no match required, and it is reimbursement based. We do want to focus that this is kind of our pilot program to see what the real need, what else is a need for the community, to see where else we can come in and either change up the program or keep it going in the future. So board action requested is approve the guidelines, authorize staff to implement, as well as appoint 2 board members to a subcommittee for it.
A question, Eric. I think it's a great start. I love it, and I love the word pilot. But why would you have a subcommittee as opposed to no subcommittee for BIG or for any of the other programs?
This is in preparation in case we get a vast amount of applications. So we're talking 40, 50 applications to review. We'd want to leverage it to be competitive based, where it's not just, how do I say it?
The idea is when we're going to take it to the board for approval, it's going to be in a batch. So if we have other board members part of the subcommittee to help us evaluate, then we have those 2 board members also speaking on behalf of our recommendation.
So will the whole board be able to see the projects, or
Yes.
just the ones that the subcommittee approves?
That's a good question. I guess that would be up to the board. It really was what we evaluate from the scoring to eat up that 500,000. So however, we anticipate 40 to 50 applications as a batch.
We all have different expertises on this board, which is great, but one opinion may differ from another, so scoring may be different for one versus another. And so I guess what I'm saying is I would be, if I'm sitting here looking at it, I'm curious to see everything that's out there. That doesn't mean there can't be a subcommittee, don't get me wrong, but I do want to know what's out there.
Is there something where it says, so anybody can apply, or is there a timeline, like you have to be open for 5 years, 10 years?
It has to be an existing business. It can't be somebody moving into a location.
Well, yeah, but what about somebody that just opened last month, and will they be able to apply? Would it be open to all businesses, or are we doing kind of the businesses that have been established in the community already for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? Because, I mean, I know you guys are projecting 50 applications. I'm thinking it's gonna be more like the economy is hurting right now. I think
No.
you're gonna be swamped with applications. I think it's gonna be
40
We,
to
we
50 is what we're
definitely
gonna
are,
present.
but we're only going to be able to fund up to 50.
Yeah, we're expecting at least 100 coming in, but that we actually bring forward to you.
I do like your idea, though. I mean, we don't have a set,
We can add the stipulation, yeah.
so we could put, I would recommend a minimum of opening for the past 2 or 5 years.
So before we go there, in your earlier slides, you mentioned 20 employers,
20 employees, correct.
and at the same time, you're saying need to be local.
Mhm.
So that doesn't add up. How many local businesses have more than 20 employers?
It's less than.
No,
Less
Less
than.
than 20.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
less
thought
than.
it's up to, like, or it should be
Yeah,
minimum.
up to. yeah.
Okay, up to, sorry. That's why, like, I didn't catch that. Okay, so.
I
all
have a
right.
question. So with the downtown area, you help with the exterior and the interior, right? So just a question, why only the exterior you're gonna be helping with big lifts and not in like the interior? So like, let's say, I mean, obviously I'm not right, but like, let's say I own, I don't know, a clothing store and my pipes burst or whatever, and I need a little bit of help. Would that not be able to cover it because it's interior and just
Right.
exterior?
So right now, since it's the pilot, it's really to gauge what the public is saying. You know what, hey, I'm applying for your facade, but I really need help with the interior. So that's where to see if we have the need for it, to justify putting these funds aside for that.
Also, just for downtown, it's for vacant buildings, and so these are existing buildings. And so we feel like we don't have enough funds to go around, and we were thinking of also, $10,000 is still a lot of money, and they have to pay up front. And that's why we put no match, because we want to remove one barrier to be able to allow them to be able to remove that barrier to be able to fund things. Ideally, we don't want to use it as emergency fund for this grant. It's really to help with existing beautification. Eventually, I would love to have it to where we're looking at how we're digitalizing them. So those would be like the interior, how updating the POS, if they don't have Wi-Fi, because there's a lot of businesses that don't have Wi-Fi. So I think this is our first introduction into, as why we call it pilot, introduction into going outside what we've been doing, because we've been doing big downtown for 6 years. So it's just getting our feet wet and, like Eric said, getting the pulse of additional needs.
So when we did the budget earlier this year, we approved a $500,000 for a program that will resemble this, right? So first of all, are we thinking to use that funds?
That's what this is.
For this program?
Yeah.
Okay. So $500,000, like, why you don't make it a little bit more effective in terms of the impact? Increase the amount and make it to my.
That's what I was gonna comment on.
Why?
How do we determine 10 and not 20?
Try to stretch it thin to where, yeah, it's helpful, but it's not really gonna make a huge impact when it comes to, what we're trying to do. Second, you can be strategic about, and we talked about that, having rotation. So like, we have specific areas, southmost, we have Boca Chica corridor, we have Price corridor, we already know where are the main arteries in our city. And maybe we can do it in rotation. Well, this year will be southmost, next year will be Boca Chica, that way you don't stretch yourself very thin. At the same time, you're able to provide more assistance, expand the amount in terms of how much, and also the scope of what we can help with, rather than trying to spread it out there, and it becomes like, we don't control it, and it's not gonna be very impactful. That's my thought.
That was what I was gonna say next, and originally when I brought back the desire of at least 2 city commissioners that asked me to bring this up originally, was to rotate it. This year we're doing District X, next year we're doing District Y, to, like he's saying, to rotate it. Then you may not be inundated with 100 applications because the space is different.
And you're able to provide more assistance. Rather than spending 10,000 all over the city, you can maybe spend 20,000 for each one within district A and B. Something to think about. You don't have to decide today. It's great to start. At least the concept is evolving. We just need to tweak it a little bit before we send it out there.
Can I add one comment? Sure. Real quick, and on the topic of the corridors, I think that is a good suggestion, because I also see it as like, when we're trying to invest on multiple corridors all over the place, I feel like the development will be kind of sparse, right? Where when you focus on one corridor and give them whoever applies, you're gonna see the impact visually a lot sooner than if it was all over the place, depending on who applies. So I just want to add that comment.
I have a question. Is it only for new applicants, or, because I know that a lot of people that get the big grant here are big corporations that do renovations and things like that, and they own different property around town. Will they be able to apply as well, or is it just new mom and pop applicants?
Like downtown applicants?
Yeah, like if somebody has already gotten a big grant from downtown, will they be able to qualify for the big lift?
He's talking about if they have other properties.
Oh, if they have other properties, it would be strictly to each property.
So, since we do have limited funds, is that something that we can change, that only new applicants can apply? I mean, there's a lot of businesses out there.
He brings a good point. What he's saying is that we don't want people double dipping in big.
Yeah.
and then-
Right.
Because they're the ones that know how to apply already, so they'll be the
if-
first ones to apply.
Right, so if developer X has a
Yeah.
small property and a big property, I mean, like outside of downtown, he or she shouldn't be able to apply for both at the same time.
Correct.
Because then, that's not the idea. The idea is to spread the
We can
wealth.
word it is that if this is open only to businesses that haven't received prior BCIC assistance.
And to,
No, not through the big program, like not specific. So, any applicants that have not received assistance through the big program.
Okay.
Because we don't have to
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now going back to upping it up a little bit from the 10,000, we can do that by allocating the 576,000 from the quality of life in the next agenda. We can move it up to $1 million for the big lift and help out more businesses.
I think we need to, personally, I get where you're coming from, but this is so new, I think it should be a pilot. Try it out, get our feet wet first before we go that far. That's just my personal opinion. As far as your point, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, so also to go with that point is, I'm sorry, because we're going towards the funding at the end of our fiscal year, we can reevaluate if we want to, for the next budget year for the
Right.
program.
But to your point about
No,
the,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, the 2 or 5 years, I would favor a 2-year, because 5 years, you're already established, and really, do you need help? You don't necessarily need extra help. At that point, you're already successful. We want to help out the people that are,
Up and coming.
maybe not brand new, but they still need.
Yeah, but we can focus
With
on
that,
the
because
legacy
we are doing
businesses
the
too.
facade, with that, once it's past 5 years, the signs start peeling, they need updated signs, so at the 2-year, your signs are brand new still, lighting up perfectly. At a 5-year, you'll start getting a lot of that glitches and.
True, but don't you have other operating capital? You've been successful for 5 years.
Well, I mean, 5 years is kind of like they say 5 years is where you either make it or break it. They give you the first 5 years to make it or break it. But just because you're paying your rent and paying employees doesn't mean you're making it, right? So they need a little bit of help as well. A lot of help, I would say, actually.
I think that this is a really good idea. I really do appreciate it. I was having a conversation with Sergio not too long ago that we do need to pay a little bit more attention, not just to with Corey too, not just the downtown area, but all of Brownsville, because that's what's going to make people want to come down and spend their money here. And then the more money they spend here, the more money that we can spend on other little projects and stuff like that because of the sales tax. So I do agree about if they've already had some type of like big lift, or not big lift, but the lift. I think we should kind of like narrow that down, only because it is true. I mean, we have seen it before in the past, right, where we have one person and they open here and they open there and they open there, and they're all using the same. So just to avoid that and to be a little bit to help spread the wealth.
Another point I want to make: how are we going to help Eric? Are we planning on hiring somebody? Because he's doing some more work. There's going to be another 100 applicants plus what he already has on the table.
Yeah.
Are we getting a little bit? Are we putting some funding
We've
aside
asked,
for?
we've asked in the budget amendment to hire additional staff, because not only with this, but with all the current open grants that we have, the projects, it's time for us to segregate roles and duties. Especially since Eric is also, he's the project manager, does all the meetings, but he also does all the.
I had more hair when I started.
He also does all the reimbursements. And so it's time to segregate. So that way we can continue doing the customer service at a level we like to stay at. But additionally with this is a lot of intake. And besides we do have interns coming in, we do need a permanent specialist to help Eric.
So I would just like to slip in a question, if you guys don't mind. The dollar amount, everything is so expensive. I just think 20 would be a little more impactful. Everything, everything keeps going up, fuel's going up, natural gas is gonna go up,
Are y'all
everything.
comfortable with no match? Because that was one thing that we just, with our conversations with businesses, is match is difficult.
Oh, well, there's no match.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's why we did 10, because of no match.
Kind of like what Tomball and what
With
Edinburgh are doing.
and
But
Harlingen.
we the 10. I mean, the project started at 2,000,
And it's
so
reimbursable.
they can do something smaller at $2,000 or $3,000.
They can.
They don't necessarily. We move it up to 15 or 20. That doesn't mean that someone who can't put up $20,000 can apply, because they can put up maybe $2,000 and get a new window display or something.
Yeah, I'm just comfortable about loaning funding 20,000 with no match, so that there's no skin in the game.
Yeah, no, that's.
At 10,000, I think it's pretty. We see it accustomed across many communities at no match. But going up, then it's time we put some skin in the game for a match.
Why you don't put it this way? You can create again categories, just like you're doing with big. No match up to 10,000, with a match up to 20,000. So you have now 2 categories where okay, I'm gonna do something, and you can do the match 80-20, just like we're doing with big. That's what I'm talking about. Like, make this more robust. And second is try to think about how you're going to control it, with either corridors or districts, whichever, and rotation, so that way you can provide more support and be more impactful. And we just rotate it could be rotation 6 months, doesn't have to be a year long. No. If you think there is demand between the districts, or you can do, okay, first 6 months will be for districts, or 3 months, a quarter. But first quarter will be for District 1, District 2,
order.
You know what I'm saying? You open it only for one district for the first quarter, second district for the second quarter, and so forth. So think about these ideas. I'm not saying this is the best solution, but just think about these things, bring it back to us. We're all in support. This is a great idea. This is what we have budgeted for anyway. So we're supporting it. Just try to make it a little bit more more robust.
The other kind of neat thing that we could do with districts or whatever areas, how we do it, is use the one city approach as we
Sure.
just enjoyed with the conference that that the mayor held at the event center. Let's say we're doing District 2, I'm making that up. Okay, we're gonna decide on, X, Y number of businesses, but we as an organization can for free reach out to the PUB, reach out to whatever and say, hey, these are the folks that we are looking at, we are funding. What can you do to pitch into the pot to help these entities that have qualified for these funds? So use the one city approach. If it's all over the city, you can't, it's a little bit more cumbersome for another entity to do that, or maybe it's something with BISD or something with the university or whatever, but invite those entities that are within our one city to say, look, we are holding these folks up. What can you put into the pot to help them as well? And that doesn't cost us anything, only a few phone calls that could be meaningful to those locations.
Okay.
Thank you, Eric.
So we table it
Table
and
it
we
to-
come back?
Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna, it's fine, but can we maybe utilize meetings at our public libraries, Southmost libraries and central libraries to hold little workshops to teach them? When I get back, and it hasn't been one person, it has been many people that say, hey, apply, like, how do I apply? I mean, it's crazy. How about we host some little workshops to
That's in the packet of where we're gonna hold info sessions?
It's in the marketing, right? I
Yeah,
guess.
in the
Yeah,
marketing
it's
of
part
it.
of the marketing outreach, so I'll be
Marketing
doing
and
a
outreach.
presentation in every district every week of May.
And I know I had one person say that he struggled with the English, so he just didn't know how to navigate the application with that. So I don't know if the correct thing is to put a Spanish application out there as well, or
Already.
to
It's
host
also
workshops in Spanish that helps them.
Yeah.
If they have any questions, apply.
Yeah, the Spanish guidelines and application are already also ready to go to launch with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we'll reach out to Commissioner Martinez as well as both at-large A and B to, besides doing the library, other, opportunities for us to host for that month at different locations and at times.
Yeah. I mean, because for those workshops, I mean, I can take you a whole bunch of business owners.
Yeah.
That will be interested in this.
That's
'Cause
great.
I'm telling you right now, the economy is suffering and business is suffering, people are hurting, and they're gonna wanna be interested in this program citywide.
That's why we had the idea of doing it this way, to host the town halls across all the districts, let them bring awareness to the project or to this program, and then also use it as a way to get data, to get more information of what else they need assistance with, or what else we can step in, whether it be doing more educational, more courses, or just being more present in those districts and not just hosting events here at eBridge, but activating the library, activating New Horizon, for example, just to talk about our programs as well as this.
A school cafeteria or whatever.
Yeah.
We understand that, Eric, but you need to be realistic about it too, right? Like, as I said, like big, we have been doing it for 5 years and we're still struggling with it. You're still struggling. I mean, you're inundated with all the amount of work, so you need to be, we need to be strategic about it, right? How we can start that without getting overwhelmed to the point where it becomes a failure, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we're having these ideas, like, control, right? But at the same time, spread it where we can touch every corner of the city eventually.
And many compliments to you for the work that you've done, and thank you for bringing it back.
Thank you for putting up with Murad. I mean, I have a quick question regarding the marketing campaign at the beginning. I'm sorry, Sergio.
No, go ahead.
Will you target, I know there's been a lot of road construction, for example, on International, is it Old Dallas? I don't know what roads.
Yeah, in the packet, there's also the corridor breakdown where we
Okay,
specify
I'm
which
sure
ones.
a lot of those businesses are hurting because of the construction.
Definitely.
Okay, yeah. That was,
And through guidelines, it'll be easier to fund them because of the same construction, right? On the,
Yeah, but if we decide one district, then like the one like Old Alice, or not Old 77 wouldn't be.
Old 77, I
some-
couldn't think of it.
We might have to look to see how we can look at that too.
Quick
Pick a
question.
corridor in each district. No, you can't do that. If the
Well,
thing
we
ab-
had, it was about 8 corridors?
Yeah, it's a good number that we marked down.
Yeah, they're all over the city.
Oh,
I
okay,
mean,
yeah. Well, so you might also have to adjust the timeline if you're doing a corridor under construction, because it'll be, you know, maybe we give something to facade improvement on Business A and they're on International. It's gonna take a while for that
True.
construction to clear before they can do their project. So you may have to adjust the timeline. I'm not saying don't do it, I'm just saying for those type of people.
Yeah, they would
We may
have-
need to adjust the timeline,
yeah, those are
considering the
tech stop
construction,
funded projects and those
which
take
are
forever.
unpredictable.
They'll be done in
Right.
2045.
Right.
Corey, so it sounds like the board has a lot of really great ideas and I think are really interested in advancing this, but I'm wondering next steps, is it possible, I mean, to collect the ideas that were shared with today and then maybe email the board or survey us so that, I don't want to delay this either, you know, I don't want to keep tabling and tabling, right?
that's what I'm afraid of. If we table it, it's gonna delay it at least 1 month unless we come up with a
Can we approve subject to?
special meeting.
Well, yeah, you can't make decisions by a survey. You have to have a meeting in order to do it.
Yeah, well, can we make a special meeting?
Not allowed to,
Yes.
After
to
start of
solicit
Texas.
feedback? Oh, I mean, if not, if it's not
We've
possible, it's not
waited
possible.
this long, I think we should get it right.
I mean, you can do a special called board meeting during lunch and crank it out.
Do a workshop. But Eric is busy for the next week or two. The whole staff is busy.
Startup
with-
Texas,
that's
yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
so
that
we
will give
just need
Eric
to
also
wait.
good time to actually analyze everything that has been said.
Eric, what do you
Come up
think?
with-
This will be gone if we do it in 2.
Yeah.
With that said, I mean, personally speaking, we're available to further discuss these ideas and kind of brainstorm. Like if I think that's what Mike is talking about.
Yeah, can we
Like,
have a
rather
special
than if you
workshop?
go for a month,
that's what
you can reach out to each one
They
of
got
us.
RGB startup is what you're saying.
you know,
That's a week gone right there.
Yeah. But you can
Actually,
reach
2
out.
weeks, yeah.
Yeah, he's not gonna be able to really get
Yeah.
onto it until the first week of May.
Yeah.
And so by the time he fleshes everything out, it's already our original board meeting.
We waited
So
a
you're saying
year.
it's just a wait, Corey? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
We wait,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Dr. Rose.
we waited a year. We brought this up to you a year ago, which is fine. I think a few more weeks is not gonna make or break the program.
Because if we're gonna have to post it, I mean, make it public, it's gonna be due, what, now, to bring it up again?
Can you
item?
start well, no.
The item would have to be posted,
You
wouldn't it?
can't, right?
You can put out something like program and
So
development or.
it'd have to be next week to
coming
post it to do
soon
something,
or
yeah, so might as well wait till
Yeah.
the 18th.
If you launch it by June, that's a half year period for you to start that. Like so you can June would be the start for this year,
Mhm.
and then August will be the deadline, and then you start the new cycle for next year. At
Yeah.
least you'll have it right and correct.
Still have time.
Hopefully robust enough to where I'm sure eventually we're gonna catch some gaps, but at least we'll be more.
Yeah,
more
and
developed.
breaking it down into smaller corridors, it would
Yes.
make the marketing outreach not be as intense, and it wouldn't stress Nelson out as much. Me blowing up his phone. Okay,
So I'll move to table this item until it's more, developed.
Second,
All those in favor?
I.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Aye.
oh, it's the other one?
Item number 9, consideration, discussion, and action on the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation fiscal year 2026 budget amendment. All right.
All right, well, good evening. I'll be walking you through the fiscal year 2026 budget amendment, but before we go into the numbers, I do want to provide some context on basically how our budget works. So we're a little different. So how BCIC budget works, so BCIC is funded by sales tax revenue, so because budgets are built on projections, not guaranteed amounts, actual receipts never match exactly, so that variance is expected and normal. Now, where the rollover comes from, the 2.3 million rollover reflects two things. Sales tax that came in above projections and program funds that were not fully utilized during fiscal year 2025. So both are a routine part of how public sector budget works. So what this amendment does, it formally puts those funds to work, covering previously approved commitments and also directing the remainder towards strategic priorities. So what this amendment does, specifically four things. First, it formally funds approved programs. For example, the 500K for the Small Business Enhancement Program, which is the program that we just talked about. That one was board approved and now it's funded via rollover. Second, it aligns also to our quality of life budget to reflect the actual costs of the projects that were already approved. This year we budgeted 600K, so we're a little bit short, so we have to budget a little bit more to cover what has been approved already. Third, we're investing in our people, so we conducted a market-driven compensation plan. We collaborated with the City of Brownsville HR department, so we did some adjustments. We're also proposing to hire a new program specialist. We're bringing in a new 457 retirement plan for our staff, and also improving our HR services. And fourth, we're properly budgeting 125K and funds that we received from the Texas A&M University, specifically for the SBIR grant. So these funds were already received. We're just now properly budgeting them. Questions as of now?
Can you give me an example of programs that weren't fully realized?
You mean for number 2?
Yes.
Okay, for that one specifically, this fiscal year, we budgeted 600,000. So in our last board meeting, the board approved a total of 1.24, 1,024,609 in projects. So we're short, in essence. So we're just bringing up that amount. That way, it covers what it's already been approved.
Thank you.
Now, if we look at the numbers, this is how we're gonna break down the 2.3. So it's 1.3, of that 1.3 million, it goes towards the required adjustments. Those are the commitments and operation and needs that I just described. And then the remainder, which is the 900K, it goes towards strategic allocations, which I'll cover in a bit. Just a quick note also, we also have 500K that we received from JBIC funds last fiscal year. So what we're doing now is we're properly allocating those funds on the entrepreneurship and innovation program. So that's not additional funds. That don't count those 500K as part of the rollover. That's just funds that we had already assigned. They're just properly allocating them.
Quick question on the GBEC funds. I do remember that. So we actually got like a check.
Yes, we did.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, we received it, but it's just in our fund balance under assigned. We just have to properly allocate it in our budget.
Yeah, the auditors said that we should allocate it for this year and not use it for funds that we spent last year.
So, and then on the budget side, the revenues are gonna stay the same. No new revenues being introduced. The expenditures is gonna increase from 8.9 to 10.7 million. There's a difference of 1.8 million, and which is covered entirely by the rollover. And then the remainder, 500K, is what covers the small business improvement enhancement program that I mentioned. Any questions on this slide? Okay, so now I'll break down the required adjustments. Like I mentioned, it's 500K for the Small Business Enhancement Program, which is now known as the Big Lift Program, previously approved by the board, and now it's funded by rollover. Then for operations, it's 319K. It's covering compensation, staffing, and advertising. It's like I mentioned, it covers the compensation adjustments from our study. A new program specialist position is going to be able to assist Eric. 457
retirement plan, and also it adds funds to our advertising line item. On that advertising piece, the city, it's gonna cover for the agreement that we approved, it was last fiscal year, correct, Corey?
We approved a agreement with the city of Brownsville for, I believe, $30,000, and it was in August. And we wanted to take it out of our 2025 budget, but the auditor says, no, you have to take it out of our 26 budget. So we did not budget that funds into the budget this year.
So we just need to properly allocate those funds.
So quick question also for the operations and their compensation. I'm assuming we're factoring the Nathan replacement as well?
Yes. Okay, for the next,
And then also the adjustment in the compensation, right?
I'm sorry?
Yes.
The adjustment. in
Yes,
compensation
And staffing.
the
Well, yeah.
yeah, market adjustment.
Yes.
Okay, aside from that, it's a 424K that I mentioned for the quality of life alignment. Again, this is not new spending. We're simply making sure that our budget reflects what has already been improved in quality of life projects. And then 125K for entrepreneurship and innovation, and 29K for the city services contracts, which it's expanded HR agreements for compliance and organizational development. And then as far as for strategic allocations, the remaining rollover is 901K. So so these strategic allocations, we're developing coordination with our board treasurer. So our largest proportion is for the quality of life. It's 576K, and it's to open a cycle and also for strategic and community projects aligned with BCIC priorities. And then we have 300K for the big program, which is to fund over 10 projects supporting business expansion and job creation, and 25K for targeted sponsorships for cultural events and marketing campaigns. Any questions on this?
I thought we had done away with quality of life last board meeting when it came back on. So that's new funding for another round of quality of life, if I'm not mistaken.
That's not for a new round. That's just putting the funds into any initiatives that are considered quality of life, which like last year, we did the Texas Workforce Commission grant match for pipe fitting 1 and 2 with TSC. So that was a grant match for $150,000. So we used it out of the quality of life. So this is for any projects that come to us that we're able to assist with.
So we can't put it in sponsorships? Because I mean, that still comes through sponsorships.
I don't foresee us spending, that amount.
Well, not the whole amount, but what I have the issue is with it's back on quality of life. It could go to the big lift and move it up to $1 million. It could go, we already do, what, $5 million in quality of life? Why are we doing another 576,000? That's
I think quality of life is just the term, but that's essentially what Type B does, is called quality of life. And so we're putting it as, those are another initiatives that we can do.
But also, sorry, it's not gonna be opened up you're not gonna open up another cycle.
No,
as we
not
did in
opening
the
another
past.
cycle, yeah.
And I think,
Wait a minute, sorry.
Hold on.
This is not what this is about. I just want to clarify. This is everything that Corey is talking about, but also moving with the quality of life forward, treat it as a bid, rather than just open a cycle and close. Like you open it for any applicants who qualify to apply, and if they qualify, we fund it. If they don't qualify, we don't fund it.
Right,
Like
you didn't let me finish my question.
Sorry, go ahead.
So, as you stated, it is for pipe fitting programs,
Yeah.
training,
Initiatives.
things like that,
Quality of life,
initiative,
yeah,
which align with the quality of life
Yes.
pathway, pretty much, right?
yeah.
Pretty much.
But also it's for any nonprofits that come in and apply for the remaining of the year, and they qualify and they meet the criteria, then yes, they qualify. It's not like we're done with receiving any applications.
But I thought we were done receiving applications, because that round of applications was over for quality of life. It ended in December.
Yeah, but a new organization might have a good application and come in. So we have money to sponsor that. Besides,
So if it's a sponsorship, we should put it in sponsorships.
it's not, sorry, not sponsored, to grant it.
Oh, Mike? Mike?
Your mic.
To give you another example, a few years back, there is, because it's still in existence, Dr. Reddy, who is an ophthalmologist, wanted to open a free ophthalmology clinic for children. She partnered with Horizon, and they needed funds to buy the equipment, to provide free ophthalmologic services, including surgery to children's eyes that do not have health insurance. That she created jobs by doing that, but it is also obviously quality of life that she is treating his son for eye disease that he cannot afford to provide for his son. If something like that came up, in this case, 2 years ago, this was like probably 4 years ago, I wasn't on this board, but this was something that just happened because Dr. Reddy decided that she wanted to give back to the community. So it didn't fit into a grant cycle. It was a special project with extraordinary special development that she wanted to get through, and it was funded because it was a unique and certainly quality of life as well as all of the rest. So do we want, I personally think that we should be open to the possibility of something exceptional like that that comes to us, and instead of saying to Dr. Reddy, no, you gotta wait to treat those kids until next year's grant cycle comes around.
Correct.
She's providing free care that could not have been done otherwise to make your child see.
But we can always move funds around if something special comes around like that. I mean, it's not set in stone. We can always allocate different funds. We do it all the time. So
That's what we're doing. We already allocated funds for every program that we're talking about, including the big lift. $500,000 for a pilot program is a good start. So it's not like by the end of the year, if we didn't spend the 576, and there is a big project coming through a different category, yes, at that point you can move things around. But for now, we have healthy budget for all the programs, including the new one. $500,000 for a pilot program like the big lift, and we're comfortable to support every single program without having the money being just assigned to any of the categories. But by the end of the year, if we open up this, and this is not for cycle anymore, this is just like big, like Dr. Gowan said. Anybody applies and they qualify, they will come to us. We're gonna, gauge it and see, okay, they qualify, we approve it or not approve it.
So question, I'm assuming it's a case-by-case
Yes.
scenario, right, number one. Number two, it is gonna come to the board, depending on the
Yes.
project, right? And then my last question is, last year for these special projects, what was the budget for last year? And the year before? I'm just curious, I mean, because we're making a budget amendment.
I just have the one for
Did
for this fiscal year.
Well, I mean,
Do we put 1.5 in the quality of life last year, but we only spent like 1.2?
I believe so.
Something like that. That's what,
And then last year, we had 800,000 for the big grant, and we only spent 500,000.
yes.
Are we going back to 800,000?
The reason we do have, as it says there, we have 10 projects in the queue. So we don't, if all 10 projects come to us as we anticipate, we don't have enough funding.
So it's just, so downtown will get more funding than the citywide big program. To me, that's just crazy.
Again, big has been established, so you would put more money in your established program. This one, the big lift, is a pilot program. So again, it's just, we're trying it out to see if what we put is significant improvement, is it impact? And then we can reevaluate for the following years if we want to continue and not be a pilot, and then we can reevaluate the funding that goes into it.
So I agree with sponsorships, and I think it should be higher, because I think every single person that wants to invest in Brownsville and bring in whatever it is in community project, we should have our logo on there that we support them. So I do believe sponsorship should probably be higher than 25,000.
This year, we budgeted 100K. We're just adding 25K
Yeah.
more.
No, I know,
But,
I know.
But we still have, we've
Enough-
only spent half of it,
Yeah.
of the 100,000. So that's why we're saying, okay, we can see just
based on
additional
what
25.
we've received.
And the quality of life is more impactful and have a more lasting impact than sponsorship. Sponsorship is usually one event or so. Quality. I was saying that quality of life has a more impactful, magnitude and also a timely impact rather than the sponsorship. Sponsorship is a one event. Yes, it's great, but it's a one event thing kind of activity. Versus quality of life, you tend to be projects that will last for longer period and impact more people. So
I would disagree because I think sponsorships is infusing money straight into the economy right away instead of doing it slowly through quality of life, where, as we've seen before, very few people actually take advantage of that. Whereas an event, thousands of people show up, and that's throwing money directly back into the economy.
I would not agree with you that few people take advantage of quality of life projects. That is not true. However, the other point I was going to make was that this could be a great parking place for money that we reserve to use for the professional soccer team. If that ever comes to fruition, we're going to have to provide money for that, and we could take that from this because that certainly is also quality of life. Pardon?
Sorry, wouldn't, if the soccer team does come into, is that the one you're talking about? If United Soccer League, wouldn't they be?
We
Like
do
setting
have,
their-
yeah, we
No,
do
the
have
city-
undeveloped land
The
that,
city, yeah.
Yes.
yeah, so there has to be, for anything that comes into the sports park, there has to be a P3, a private-public partnership model. So there may be a request for additional funds to maybe upgrade the stadium or the parking and such.
The original request from the organization was something in the range of $30-40 million from us, meaning
From
the
us.
city, meaning the city. So obviously, we would need to contribute something.
But not just us, correct? Like there's also that other.
Yes, I
Understood.
agree. I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I do need to point out, though, on sponsorships, the state statute says we are very limited on how much we can allocate for sponsorships and marketing, 10% of our budget. So you also have to think about, in our operation budget, we have marketing and advertising in that. So we have to be mindful of how much we put out in sponsorships.
And also, I want to add, in discussion with the staff about this quality of life funds, it's not just about projects coming to apply for grants, but also about all these workshops that we'll be talking about to help businesses and nonprofits alike to be able to apply for grants and for our own applications. So when we talk about workshops to help them, apply for the big program or the big lift program or whatever, this will be covered by this money. All these workshops that we talk about, also historical preservation, tax credit, to educate the community about how you can take advantage of such program, which could be a great revenue for us as a community. This will be also covered by this. So all these activities that we're going to be doing to help the community take advantage of all the resources out there will be covered by this category. So it's not just about waiting for a project to come in, but also start activating and participating in these activities that we're saying we're going to do: workshops, grants, applications, tax credit, historical tax credit refunds, how we can apply for that. We need to hire somebody to do these kind of workshops, so we're going to be paying from that fund.
Yeah, but it's also, I think the biggest thing is that it's going to be itemized. Like every project that does come up, it needs to come and be presented here.
Of course.
Now,
Just
if we
like
think
pay.
it's a bogus idea, well then,
Yeah, no, just like pay.
right.
Just like pay, yeah, of course.
If it's not those three, where else could that money be allocated to, if not those three?
Out of everything, that's really where our programming is at, is these three items. Everything else under under the entrepreneurship and innovation, I think I think we're well-funded in those areas. And that's really it.
So what, the training, that would fall, kind of the education component, does that, I guess, still fall under quality of life?
Yeah.
Or would it be like a sub kind of category?
It could be a sub, but the funding would still come out of that quality of life. I mean, we can even change the name if you want, just saying it's, just
Yeah, I mean, I'm
board,
just asking.
board initiatives, self-directed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a name change would be helpful, because I do recall, I mean, I understand the type B economic development has those standards, and when they talk about how you can distribute your sales tax dollar, it's quality of life
Yeah.
initiative, so it's very broad, so that might be helpful in the future.
But our recommendation is to allocate it in this way. And then again, like we've discussed, any of those types of projects comes before the board. And then if we see an opportunity that we have to pull from one line item to another, we have that flexibility. It's just we need to allocate those funds and not leave them unrestricted.
Any other questions? So we're not gonna open up the cycle for quality of life grants, and also, I guess this is something we can touch on at budget season 2, but we also have to, I mean, I would like to bring up the whole city deal. I mean, that's another big chunk, it's $3 million. Plus on top of that, I mean, I think we all need to be on the same page when it comes to funding all of that.
Yeah, we need to have a budget workshop.
When are we gonna have that budget workshop?
The ideal is have it in June. And we would have it facilitated. Our idea is having it facilitated by Travis James.
Thank you. Any other questions? Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll move to approve the amendment budget as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Motion passes.
What was the vote total on that?
Item number 10, consideration, discussion, and action on the performance goals.
Oh, the vote total.
You want a roll call on it?
Roll call?
On the vote?
Sure. Tracy? Was it yay or nay?
Aye.
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 Nay.
I know. But still need to vote.
Oh, yeah, I do. I do want to abstain because I feel like it's something that I would need to look more into. I don't know if a name change would be enough, and just, just not step out from this one.
Motion passes.
Motion passes. 1 nay, 1 abstention.
Thank you. Item number 10, consideration, discussion, and action on the performance goals and evaluation criteria for the president CEO for calendar year 2026.
This was tabled at the last meeting. So since the last meeting, I took some of the feedback that I received and incorporated into the KPIs for review today. Mainly, I wanted to point out that I really put, it was implied, but now through the KPIs, it's very distinct on the quality of life. So that way it's not, we've elevated it, or I have evaluated it. Okay, so what's new on, compared to last time is we have, I've updated to be quarterly dashboards, monthly executive briefings, department level KPI tracking, governance, clear performance targets. Additionally, this is new, is the grant writing initiative with workforce upskilling, which is like the preservation, looking for certificates for grants and preservation, and the quality of life expansion. And so I did put in it, I think in your packet, I put it in the charts. And so I took that chart and kind of downsized it so we can look at what the strategy areas are. This is all based on the feedback that I received when y'all did my analysis. I don't want to say analysis. When you evaluated myself back in December, as well as going against our strategic plan. So community and stakeholder engagement, which includes quality of life, workforce development, capacity building, those things are new. Downtown revitalization, preservation, and redevelopment is a new. And then entrepreneurship is just really focusing on the KPIs for the ecosystem development. And these are the strategy areas that I have. I have it more broken down into that chart that's in your packet, which is that. And so that, I think this might be easier to read as we go along for the year, because what I plan to do is for each of the KPIs in my reporting, I would do, break it down and then put at risk, on track, needs attention. So that way, as we go along for the year, you know where I'm at with the KPIs. And so the things that I've added onto what we previously have shown is the grant writing and funding readiness pilot. That is more of and looking at certification, credential pathways for these grant writers. Also, I've talked with the city of Brownsville with their grant department, because they do have a person that's hired just looking for grants for nonprofits, and to see how we can have collaboration and strengthening on both sides, BCIC and the city grant department. The workforce upskilling, that's more of the preservation. One thing that we wanted to start many years ago was because we do focus a lot on downtown, and that's preservation, that skill set is dying, is looking to see how we can help with contractors, construction workers getting that skill set, upskilling, and looking at ways of bringing certification programs down here for them to learn, for like the city of Brownsville, Noble, Cameron County, starting with that maybe, and looking at the pilots. And then outcome tracking is just more of, being more fine in the details on the participation, partnership, funding, and projects initiated. So that way you're well aware of what's going on. Again, with entrepreneurship is really just the finer details, looking at, how detailed I will put into those KPIs. So that way you know what is going on with BCIC and my role. And then downtown is, again, I talked about looking at the tax credits, the redevelopment tools. We think that's very important. I put that in there. It was implied, but I specifically wrote it out this time of having, workshops in regards to preservation, not only commercial, but residential for the area, and learning how to do the tax credits. And that is, I think, really overall additionals. Everything else remains the same. So again, the KPIs are fully aligned with the plan, as well as the evaluation that you did back in December. I think these are very direct responses from what you evaluated. I think they're clear, they're measurable, and that's a balance of being attainable as well as being ambitious. So, questions?
Can we go back to that chart, please? The
Sure.
summary chart that you have? Because that's basically, no, not this one.
Yeah, this
This
is the one that's
this is
broken down.
Right, this is all your KPIs
Yes.
for the year.
And it's in your packet as well. I think we talked about with in our last meeting, putting in a chart format so it would be easier to read and understandable. And then the dashboards will come from this.
I thank you for all this work. I'm very impressed with this. I think since I first joined to now, I definitely see a clear pathways to work with you to identify where you're being successful, it makes my role as a board member a lot easier in improving the good work that is happening here at BCIC.
Thank you.
Quick question, what does quality of life and workforce capacity enhancements mean?
That's the grant writing and the upskills work, looking at the preservation, as I was talking about, the preservation is a upskills, it's a workforce development tool.
But, okay, so that one, are you saying by the end of the year, you're gonna actually have that program in place? Or are you gonna
Yes.
make an assessment of
That,
how, the
My
need
idea
and how
is-
we're gonna do this program?
my
Because there's
my
two
idea
things.
is, yes. I think what we could do is, I can define it even further on the timeframes. It's not on here, but I can put the timeframes. It's on the older presentation. The timeframes and saying, here's the assessment, and then the implementation. So we can put timelines on those.
I think that's a more reasonable expectation than actually having a full-fledged program to roll, because you're gonna need the partners to conduct these trainings. You're gonna need to come up with the financial, cost for this program, and who's gonna sponsor these programs. And there is a lot of intricate details that, and I'm sure you know about that because we worked on that in the past. So I would refine this goal or this KPI into provide a full assessment about implementation of historical preservation.
And put a deadline on it.
Certification, because it's just a humongous task to complete in half a year from now. And I'm doing this just so, it's two ways for you to protect your
Be
yourself,
successful.
and also for us to know, to not be disappointed at the end of the year, like, oh, you didn't meet that, because we know it's too much. That's my own, one of the items that stand out for me.
Anybody else have questions?
Any other comments?
Thank you, Corey.
You're
I
welcome.
would second what Sergio said.
Motion to approve,
So moved.
second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item number 11, announcements.
Okay, RGV Startup Week. You'll be getting calendar invites tomorrow on the keynote, the dinner. Tell everybody, tell all your contacts. If you want to participate in Demo Day, being a judge, we need a judge. Thank you, Stephanie, for stepping up, for being judge for 2 for 2. That's our second year. It's a fun event. Ribbon cutting also for the Blueprint Labs the following week on Tuesday, so you'll get a calendar invite of that. I have extended an offer to a VP. His name is Daniel Silva. I believe if you read my email, he came from Mission, RGV Partnership. He's a great guy. I think he's gonna be, he'll fit in with what he wants to do with the entrepreneurship. He'll fit in right well with BCIC. There's not gonna be a lot of onboarding with him. He actually starts next week during RGV Startup Week. He wants to be a part of it.
That's great.
So we're throwing him to the wolves. But it's good. It's good. He needs to know what to anticipate, and also to see on, being an outsider, evaluating. I think it'll be great, so we can see what improvements and pivots we need to do for the following year. So that is it.
Was he already an employee with BCIC, or you hired him externally?
I'm sorry, say again?
Was he already an employee here?
Internal hire.
No, he's not an internal hire. He comes from outside. He's from the economic development world. So I've known him for quite a few years.
Make him a judge.
It's not a bad idea.
I do also want to mention that I sent out a survey via Onboard. If you guys could take a minute and answer that survey, it's regarding the bike ride on Saturday.
Yes.
If you guys are attending, make sure you bring your helmet or your bike, or we also have bike rentals if you guys need it. I know some of you already responded to it, but if you haven't, please take a minute, whether it's a yes or no or whatever, right? Just make sure you answer it. That way we'll go ahead and provide those responses, those results to Eric. And then I also sent you all an invitation for the tennis courts. I think that's on the 20th.
30th,
on-
during start.
Yes.
Also, the finale for the challenge is this Saturday. I do not know the time.
Usually not.
And so BCIC will be there.
You're also a keynote speaker next week, no, I heard.
For Why Texas. Yes, Why Texas is, we've participated in Why Texas for a couple years in Dallas, and they are taking their conference on the road. And so they're doing a conference here in Brownsville. So currently, I believe they have 40 out-of-towners coming in. So yeah, I'm providing the opening remarks. And that is Wednesday at 9 a.m. So we're very busy, but it's good.
Awesome. Any other announcements?
No, done.
All right, item number 12, adjournment.
Into.
Second. All's in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Good night.
Good night.
I forgot.